If you are somebody that is an expert and you've always wondered how you can monetize your voice, your message, your life experience, your passion, but you don't know how to package and position it just yet, then in this video, this interview will show you exactly how to do it.
CEO of Smobile.
Peng Joon is here.
I want you to set your expectations high because I will massively exceed them. So right now we have Dean Graziosi with us, and it's such an honor because I've been watching him for such a long time. His ads, his live events, how he sells, how he refreshes his creatives, his launch behind the scenes. And right now, if you have been watching Dean and Tony, you'll know that they released this thing called KBB, Knowledge Business Blueprint, and it was amazing. It took the entire industry by storm. It was the biggest launch ever. So Dean, I want to begin with this question of, when it comes to the knowledge business, what is something that most people don't know but should when it comes to monetizing what they know?
Yeah, I can't wait to share that. First thing I just want to say, man, thanks for having me on here. Thank you for the kind words. But I've been watching you more now lately since you and I got the chance to chat. And it's really awesome what you're doing for the world. It's really awesome that you're dedicating your life, your passion to learn, grow, and share with others. The world needs more of it. And I'm just really impressed. And so if you're listening right now, you're in the right spot at the right time. Keep listening. One thing they don't know, really great question. Here's what I believe. You know, I've been in the knowledge industry, sharing my voice, sharing what I've learned for over 23 years. What most people don't know is when they see somebody like you, or they see my partner, Tony Robbins, or see me, or see another influencer, they think it was magically we became an influencer. Magically, we became someone who shares. When we all started at nothing. I mean, my first event was over 20 years ago, 19 years ago. I thought 500 people were going to show up and 5 did. So I know that feeling, but the world has changed. So the thing that you might not realize when you're watching is there are people, countless people, exponentially a huge amount of people right now that want what's in your head, and you probably don't realize it. And the best way I love to describe it is, how old are you now, Peng?
I'm 35.
How old are you? You're 35. Well, you look amazing, man. You look like 22. You and Russell are going to look like 12-year-olds forever. But what would it be worth at 35? What would it be worth to you to go back and spend one day with your 20-year-old self?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How much would that be worth to you?
It would be priceless. I can't.
Priceless, right? And that's the only answer. Millions
Yep.
are priceless, right?
Yep.
And that's really what you have to understand. If you're listening or watching right now, you've been through an experience. You've built something. You've been working in an industry. You have your own business. You figured out marketing, or you figured out sales, or maybe you figured out SOPs and KPIs, or maybe you figured out how to change people's lives, or get them to lose weight, or eat better, or help them through a bad divorce, or help their kids go to a better level. Anything you could possibly imagine, any niche. If you have a month, a year, 6 months, 10 years, 20 years in that space before someone else, there's somebody starting right now on day one who needs that information. And the part that you might be delusioned about is that your expertise is not valuable. And that's just couldn't be further from the truth, because in today's world, we have a whole new generation of people looking at college and university and saying, do I go through 4 or 5, 6 years of school and get debt? And then what do I do when I come out? Because none of my friends have a job. Or do I try to learn through my own trial and error? And that doesn't work either. What the world is doing is turning away from the traditional general knowledge of the current education system, and they're turning towards self-education. If they want to learn how to speak better and create a sales process, they're coming to Peng. Why would they go to school for 6 years when they could spend a weekend with you? But what you have to realize is you have a gift inside of you, and you're in the right spot to unlock it. And once it's unlocked, your confidence goes from could I do this to I must do this. And when you get to I must do this, and then you realize that there's marketing capabilities to use social media instead of it using you. You know, a lot of us have been used by social media too long. Facebook and YouTube collect every bit of data that exists. So whatever your niche is, whatever your expertise is, even if your niche is a far outlier, through social media, we can find the exact people who want that niche. And that's why it's such a great time to be alive. We extract what we know or an experience we went through. People are hungry for it. To pay you for it, you get to impact their lives and go do it again. I hope that, I know that was a long answer.
No,
for a
this
short.
this is so on point, and I know like 100% the thing that stops people from getting started is really two things. It's the conversation they have with themselves up here, but
Yes.
much more than that, it's also the environment. Right now there's just so much hate going on for people selling courses, selling products, selling ebooks, selling live events. And there's many people out there that say selling courses and selling events and selling workshop tickets is not a real business. Now, and because of these two things, right? People saying it's not a real business, right? They just want your money, and at the same time, oh, but I'm not good enough. Who am I to be an expert at this topic? And these two
Yeah.
things happening at the same time, that's what stops somebody from even taking the first step. And you've done it. You've done it all. You've done live events. You've invested in real estate. You've made hundreds of millions of dollars from offline, online. What is your take when it comes to somebody saying, "Oh, selling live event tickets, workshop tickets, membership sites? That's not a real business." What do you have to say to
Yeah.
that?
You know what, dude? You know what I love more than anything? I love when I get a question that I haven't heard before, and I mean it. That's such a good question. It's so relevant. Like I wish more people asked me such a real and raw question. And here's the answer to that. The cool part is that that's changing rapidly, because even when my partner and friend Tony Robbins started 40 years ago, this was like it was like a cult. Like the whole world did what everybody did. You went to school, you went to grade school, middle school, high school. And then you hopefully did good enough to get into university or college. You put out your applications and you go through school, and that's the path. And when you're done with school, you put out your applications and you get a job. And if you land the job, it's like, yay. And that's just not what the world wants right now. But we've been doing it so long like that it's ingrained in us that anything outside of the norm seems abnormal, right? I mean, think about anything, right? Until the time is ready, until the world is ready, people ignore the change that needs to happen. So, I mean, for example, look at Tesla now. If you're here in the States, there's Teslas everywhere. I have one. Everybody I know has one, right? But did you know the electric car has been around since the 20s? And then they try to bring it out in the 1940s, the 1960s, the 1990s. The world wasn't ready for it. And now it's the race to be all electric. They're saying now within 18 years, every car sold will be electric. It's time, right? So what's happening is you have holdovers that are saying, oh no, that's not real. While simultaneously they have huge college debt, and only 27% of people, here's a crazy stat, only 27% of people who get a college degree use it.
Yep.
And 52% of them hate the job they got. So you got 13% of the world went to college and got a job that they actually like. But it was so the norm for so long that everything seems like an outlier. And when people are intimidated or not sure, it's easy to criticize.
Yep.
Right? Do you ever see, I mean, I'm in the greatest relationship of my life. I got married last year. I'm having a baby. I'm in this great mood. Sometimes I remember, you're in a great relationship and people say, they probably fight behind the scenes. They're probably not as happy as they look on camera. Like some reason we have this inner voice that wants to protect us. It's like our subconscious saying, oh no, they can't be that successful because I'm not. And I think when you can let down that guard, when you can open your mind up to another alternative, when you can look across the aisle and see why, if you're a Republican, why the Democrats think the way they think, or you're Democrat and think this way, or if you're Muslim and Christian, or Jewish and agnostic, like when you can look across the aisle and open your mind up, sometimes the path to your next level of life is this combo of the both. And I think where we're at, Ping, and I think this, I think only because we did have the largest online training in history and the biggest launch ever. I believe what you're saying. I believe you couldn't be here at a better time, man. Your position, you care, you have a big heart. I see what you delivered to the world. It's incredible. And the world is ready. Like, I think over the next 10 years, if I'm going to predict this, it's not going to be that anymore. It's not going to be courses and live events are crap. It's going to be, is it a good live event? Is it a good course? Because courses are great. Workshops are amazing. Masterminds change the world as long as you have a good one.
Yeah.
Right? They're just going to be judging good and bad. Like, is it the good car or the bad car? Is it the good mastermind or the bad? So I think the overall, it's just all bad. Dude, I think it's going away faster than you can ever imagine. This is 23 years in this space. I've seen it all. And that's why I believe, and that's why Tony and I work so hard, is it's just time to have a gold standard process. Like you either follow the gold standard or you're the crappy car, the crappy event. And I think that's why you're going to do so well and so many people follow you and listen, is because if you create another level of this, as everybody goes to the electric car, it's just going to be the best electric cars that win.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with this. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, I believe it's the eventuality. You know, 5-10 years ago, it was the case that if you could make the most noise, you could make money, right? And as long as somebody knew how to make noise, and they need to have some sort of sales process associated to it, they would be wildly successful 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Today, the main differentiator is that having a sales funnel, a sales process, understanding how to sell, that's like the bare minimum requirement. Because right now, today, everybody has a sales process. Now it comes down to how good is it, and that is what's gonna, because acquiring a customer is getting more and more expensive. So now the only thing that people's talking about is which is the best one out there when it comes to topic name. And the people that focuses on great products will win. So let's talk about, now that we've got this mindset thing out of the way, which is getting past their own limiting beliefs and what other people have to say, understanding that it's an eventuality, that the knowledge business is going to be of the future and people are going to be very accustomed to paying for things like that. Let's talk about the tactical way to get started. Because I know for many people that's going to be watching this, they're thinking to themselves, oh, but I am just fill in the blanks, right? But right? So that, and that is something I know I told myself for a really long time. I told myself,
me too.
You know, right? And I think this happens for every single expert or thought leader out there, right? So let's talk about the tactical way to get started. So I'm a nobody. Nobody knows me. I don't have a list. All I have is my life experience, my passion, my knowledge. How do I get started?
No, really great question. And I love to explain things really wide, and then we'll go down to the tactical.
Yep.
So really wide, and I want to share this with you. And I see this from the outside. Again, being in this business for so long, I've watched everybody come and go. Like when I started, there was no internet. So that's how long, since 1997, I've been on TV in 1998. With an infomercial, and the reason I had to go on TV is because there was no YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. There wasn't even MySpace. Like none of it existed. So I've watched it. So many people come and go, and where I believe the world is at right now, Peng, is the world wants and craves authenticity and realness more than ever before. And I see so many people missing it. I see so many people in this space that might have great knowledge to give, but if you just don't feel that they're coming from the heart, if you don't feel they're in an authentic place, if you feel like everything they do is polished, there's just so many of that. Like we got so many. You can't scroll on your feed fast enough when everybody looks the same, acts the same. It's like everybody has a black shirt on. How do you be the one person, like you said, how do you be the one person that has a red shirt on so you stand out? And I think it used to be noise. It used to be the craziness. And today it's authenticity. I believe that. I know with the ads I shoot, when I'm in this emotional space, it doesn't matter if I'm standing in front of a bookshelf or walking down the street. It doesn't have to be anything other than me living in my heart. And when I do, they're my best ads. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with everybody. You don't have to be as good as Peng. You don't have to be as good as me or Tony or anybody. You have to just be the best version of you. And that's what the world wants, is just the best version of you, the realest version of you, the rawest version of you. And the other thing that's trending, which I love, is vulnerability. If you look, my friend, I have a good friend, the Hollises, Rachel and Dave Hollis. Rachel wrote a book, Girl Wash Your Face. Second best-selling book in the world last year, only second to Michelle Obama's book. And if you read that book, oh my God, talk about transparent. The things she shares, you're like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. She was so vulnerable. But that's why she is probably the #1 most followed woman on the planet right now. Target just made a deal with her. If you go to any Target around the world, there's a picture of Rachel Hollis, and she has a whole section in Target. Why? Because she's just authentic and raw and real. And that one word that you got to write down, be vulnerable. There's too many people out there seeming perfect. They're on their jet or holding a check, and everything just seems so ideal. The rest of the world can't relate. And especially when someone's just worried about paying their mortgage next month and you're landing in your jet, it's like, oh man, you don't know what I'm feeling. So remember, you have to relate. So that's the first thing. On a tactical level, where you start is the first thing is spending the time to identify. And I know you have this process, Peng, so do we. Tony and I spent a year and time, money, effort, and energy to extract what you're good at. You have to remember this. Most of us are unconscious competence. We have unconscious competence. We do one, two, several things in our lives really good, and we don't realize it until someone points it out and shows you how to pull it out of you. And when you do, your confidence level goes up. I guess the best way I could answer your question is through a story. So we launched KBB to the world, 25,000 people strong, 80 countries, every niche possible, and I get to meet some of them. So a woman comes down to my office. We flew her and a couple of others down, so I just wanted to hear their story. And she said when she got KBB, she said, I didn't feel like an expert. I just got it because I thought I could share other people's knowledge, kind of be the reporter of other people's expertise. She said, but I started going through it, and I realized, and this is just crazy to me, I realized she had gone through a divorce, and she saw the pain it was causing her daughter, and she switched it, and she went into a place of a place of compassion, a place of empathy. And she said, I put my daughter first, and I found a way to have a child-centered divorce. Me and my ex became friends. We focused on our daughter, and she's thriving. We have no stress. We have no energy. She goes, at that moment, I realized that was my gift. It wasn't that I was good in business or I knew how to market or I knew how to sell or be good on stage. She goes, I just know how to do divorce. And she said, I just started telling friends and family that were going through divorce, you don't need to do that. I could show you a better way. And then she had KBB, she had the process. She started on her Facebook page. She ran some ads just targeting people because listen, in today's world, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, they do all the work of targeting people. So she just targeted people that were going through a divorce. She's on her 5th or 6th workshop right now, helping couples make their child the center of their divorce and making sure that child doesn't unravel. She's living in her unique ability. She's getting paid for a terrible experience she had to go through, but she's preventing other people from going through it. And I think that's the simplest way. If you're already in the knowledge industry, you're already doing workshops or masterminds, or you're a coach, or you've written books. This is a bolt-on to show you how to take that to another level. But for just getting started, that's the simplest story I can tell you.
Yep. So starts off with being authentic, tell your story, be vulnerable. I know that one of my better converting sales videos was one that included a clip of me literally getting destroyed on stage. It was one of the first time I was speaking and I was being coached by somebody else, and like the people who watched the video, when they saw that contrast of me on stage today versus how I first started off, because of that vulnerability and because I was being able to be transparent and to show people how I started off, that caught people's attention. So it wasn't the private jets, it wasn't the Lamborghinis. Or
I love it.
Yeah, right. So that's how anybody can start, because everybody has that story. Everybody has been through struggles. So that's step number one. And number two, I think it really comes down to saving people that time spent on the learning curve, right? So that they don't have to go through what it is that you went through when it comes to figuring that thing out, whether it was real estate, whether it was speaking, whether it was relationships. Okay, so that would be like getting started. Let's talk about potential roadblocks once a person gets started. I personally believe that in life, we always get these bold moments. And one of the first things that will stop someone that's taking the first step is the critics and naysayers and the haters. And this is something I would love your opinion on, because I know that once you have that huge reach, in fact, I just dropped a video on YouTube yesterday talking about this, but how do you deal with the naysayers and the critics and the haters when they come on your social media and they're hating on you? Like, how do you deal with that?
So, really great question. I love this, by the way. I think the way I felt about it when I first went into this business to the way I feel now is different. I have a good friend. Do you know who Trent Shelton is? Do you ever see him on Facebook?
I've seen his stuff. Yes.
Yeah, he's got a huge Facebook. I think he's one of the top 10 watched people on Facebook. Really cool dude, ex-NFL player. Yeah. He's kind of like a Southern preacher. In the States here, we get an intense preacher. He's kind of got preacher and rap, and it just got a perfect mix, right? But what he calls them is delusioned fans. Because he said he'll have people hating on him, but they'll hate in like 10 different videos. He's like, they're following me, and they hate. He's like, they don't hate me. They're just, it so goes against what they were probably taught. They just don't know how it all goes together. And so what I'd say is there's two things. There's the outside hater, and then there's the inner self-doubt. And those are the two things that'll derail you faster than anything. Because I love your questions, and I want to give you a compliment on that, because so many people will lean towards just tactical. Like, okay, so how do they, they get going? What is the marketing strategy day one? But the marketing will never work if they're telling themselves a bad story. The marketing will never work if 10 people say you're dumb for trying and they give up. What's it matter how much marketing we give? We give you the greatest marketing strategies in the world, but if you derail in here, there's no coming out of it. So here's what I'd say. They've never made a statue of a critic ever in life. I don't know if I've been to Italy a lot. I've been to Japan, China, Tokyo. I've been everywhere around the world. I still have yet to see a statue where they say, this is the guy that made fun of or questioned everybody. They put the statue up of if we're here in the States, of George Washington, who everybody said was pathetic, and his father ignored him, and his mother didn't talk to him, and the British government thought he was a loser and wouldn't let him in the room to talk to other people, and Congress didn't have faith in him. He didn't have money, didn't go to college. He had 4,000 men against an army of 35,000 British soldiers that were armed with guns and trained, and he had 4,000 farmers with bayonets and bats and spears. Some of them had bow and arrow because they had no money. A lot of them didn't have shoes. The whole world thought he was crazy, legit. Back when George Washington and the American, we're trying to, rebels were trying to take over America. The whole world, like, the British government's British Army's the strongest in the world. George Washington's got nothing. He's not formula educated. He doesn't have a formal education. Doesn't have the skills. There's no way he can make it. But what George Washington had that allowed him to win was he had the opportunity to shift his mindset. Because he didn't get more guns. He didn't get more education. There was still 35,000 soldiers that wanted to kill him and hang him in front of everybody. None of those things changed. He didn't have resources. What he found was a new story. He had a pure passion to do it. He didn't listen to anybody else, especially the naysayers. And with all that combined, that led to being very resourceful. If I have 2 children, I have a third one on the way. If I could teach them anything, it's resourcefulness, because I'm probably going to give most of my money away to charity. So they better be resourceful, because they're not going to live on daddy's trust fund, right? But with that said, the biggest thing that could stop you is if you can't find a compelling reason to do this, no matter what anybody says. If you can't find a way to shift when people tell you can't, to internalize it and make it the power of you can. Like, tell me I can't. I mean, watch me do it. I'm doing this because you say I can't. And that shifted for me at some point. That's why I write books on foundational success, because I want people to have those tools too. So I think it's a compelling story, have a reason to do it, that when people call you out on it, you need to use that as your fuel, not your anchor. You have to burn the boats and just go for it. And then the last piece of that is following somebody who's already done it. The reason your ad did so well is because you were someone who went on stage, you probably looked bad, sounded bad, it was embarrassing, but through trial and error, you do amazing on stage. You're elegant. You deliver massive value. You're sought after. People pay you a lot of money to be on their stages, but it didn't happen overnight. People probably told you were crazy. Your family thought you were nuts. Friends thought, dude, what are you going to be, a speaker? Come on. I knew you when you were a kid. You're not going to do that crap, right? So we have to just shift our story. And that's why, I wrote the book, The Underdog Advantage. Feel like an underdog. Use that as your power. I don't know about you, but I love being humble. I love to be underestimated. I love wearing t-shirts all the time and sneakers, even to meetings where everybody has suits on. I love when people underestimate me. Like, I love all those things because it's that underdog of, like, you can't hear me now, but you'll be seeing what I'm doing soon. So there's nothing tactical with what I just shared. But if you don't find that mindset, you'll never use any of the tactical stuff we're going to share with you anyway. And once you get the mindset, then it's time to get the real skills from someone who's already done it. You want to learn to be on stage? Peng went from not knowing how to do it to crushing it. You learn from him, not trial and error. No college is going to teach you that. And it's the same thing. When it's time to go to another level, find somebody doing it, extract what they know, have the right story, and then it's time to implement.
So let's then move on to this final phase, which is then,
Okay.
Because since success leaves clues and modeling from people who have done it,
Yep.
when it comes to Tony, you, Russell, like you guys are the biggest in the industry. So when it comes to getting started, the knowledge business blueprint, tell us like, how does that work? I mean, I've personally been through it, but for the people that's watching this video, how would they get started?
Yeah, really great question, man. So here's the deal. I believe in anything that you do, there's three pieces. So people have been asking me, how come, Dean, you've built courses? I've seen, why did this course go viral? Why did this become a movement? Literally, we have over 1,100 videos submitted already. Every country, every niche. Like, why did this go viral? And I know why. Because it incorporated all three components that you need. If you're watching right now or listening, I would bet to say you've bought a course before, or you've gone to an event before that was amazing, and you so appreciated what was taught, and you took 20 pages of notes, and 6 months later you still weren't doing it.
That's
We've
me.
all done it. We've all done it.
Yeah.
And Tony and I have been doing this for 60 years, so we know that, right? 60 years, him 40, me 20, right? So what we did is, the first off, and we've been talking about it a lot today, I won't bore you to death with it, but you need a rock solid, unstoppable mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, nothing works.
Yep.
And I think we can both agree, Peng, I will say this, there's nobody better in the world than Tony Robbins. If you've ever been to Date with Destiny or UPW, there will never be an event like Date with Destiny ever again in the history of the world. I hope Tony does it till he's 100 because the world needs it. Tony knows how to dig into those limiting beliefs and flip them upside down in their head. So when you say, I can't, I won't, I'm scared, when Tony's done with you, must. Your body's vibrating. You have goosebumps. Like, that's what Tony created in the beginning of the course. And this next iteration, we went back in the studio for 4 more videos, about a half hour each, that are just off the charts amazing. When I was watching them filming, I had goosebumps and had 20 pages of notes. So the first part's the mindset. So now if you're like, ready, I'm going to do this, I want another level, then the center part of the course is all the tactical, the framework, the model that's worked for us so well, and we extracted decades into days to teach people how to say, stop it, this is what you're good at. Let's go through this process we created to extract what you're good at. Here's how you're going to teach it, whether that's an online Zoom call or an in-person workshop or a mastermind, or you're going to build a community. Then how to identify your ideal client, like, oh, wow, I'm good at this. Who needs this? And then I go deep, but I don't think there's many people who've been around as long as I do and have been as significant with marketing. I go deep on the marketing on how to attract the exact people and get them to raise their hand and cut you a check and be happy to attend. And then the last part of the course is to show you how to run it, how to do it with, I call it the story, teach, tool model, and do it with confidence. So that's the middle part. So you have the mindset, then you have the blueprint.
Yep.
But the last part of the course, especially this year, is where the game changer is the implementation tool. That's the software we built. The truth is, we built a software called MindMint. It was good last year. To me, everybody loved it. To me, it was really good. It was like the iPhone 2. It took us 8 months. It took us $500,000. But now we just spent the last year taking it from like the iPhone 2 to the iPhone 7. It is your absolute implementation. So you get excited, you learn it, and then you go put it in play. I learned how to do a page, build the page. Learn how to do a video, do the video. Learn how to build an agenda, build the agenda. Learn how to push it out and start collecting data and clients, go over to the software and hit push. So in no way am I saying this is some magical money machine, you do nothing and make money. But in life, if you've read a book, been to a course, or been to an event and you didn't do it, it was missing one of those components. I've been motivated before and done nothing. I've had tactical and didn't know how to implement. And I've had software I never used. That's just a true story. We just found a way to bridge the three together. And I think that's why this thing has gone so viral.
So we're going to put the link somewhere on this page or on this video. Just click on the link to discover how you can take your knowledge, your life experience, your passion, turn it into a business while helping people and make your contribution to the world. Together with this link, I'm also including bonuses on my end to really help support you. I have personally done hundreds of events, and I'm going to be sharing with you the implementation side of it, where I'm going to be showing you step by step, move by move on how to make it happen. It's kind of like we become study buddies. I'm going to be showing you exactly how to go through this entire thing, and most importantly, have it implemented. So,
dude, you're amazing. And here's what I want to tell everybody though. Just one thing. And Peng, thanks so much for this interview, and I appreciate it because I want to serve your clients at the highest level. And I promise you, Tony feels the same way. I don't know if you had a chance to watch us live last year. 200,000 people. We're only going live once a year. So when you go to, I think my team had pengslink.com or the information on this page. It'll take you to register for the live event. That's February 27th. We're going live. If you come on the 28th, you'll miss it. And it's going to be really special. So I'd love, if anything we talked about today interests you, show up. Tony and I will rock the house.
All right, man. Dean, I want to thank you so much for being here. Guys, I hope you got tremendous value. Let us know in the comments below what your biggest takeaway is. And we'll see you in future videos.
Thanks, man.